My sister hurt herself and sent herself to the hospital just so I don't receive any attention. My 26F sister Nancy, 39F, and I have had a strained relationship for as long as I can remember. For a bit of background, Nancy's parents were my late aunt and uncle, who passed away in a car accident when she was 6 and my parents adopted her. Growing up, I realized that she got more love and care than I did, but I just wrote it off because I didn't want to blame her for her trauma or how she handles triggers. When I was a teen, I got tired of her always needing to trump my accomplishments or be the center of attention. I finished high school when I was 16 and after I received my matric results, my parents planned a big party for me, but the week before, Nancy fell down a flight of stairs and my party had to be cancelled. As I was sitting in the waiting room with my parents, I had an epiphany and realized that a lot of her accidents coincidentally happened when something big was planned for me. For example, a month before my 21st birthday, which was going to be spent on a cruise, she started having dizzy spells, and a few days before, she fell off the roof as she was trying to patch a few leaks. Rightfully, I was upset, and my parents lashed out at me for being selfish when my sister got injured trying to do something to help them. When I graduated with my MBA at 22, she very sick after eating shellfish, which everyone knows she is deathly allergic to. The day after my partner proposed, she got into an accident while driving on a sunny day with great road conditions, saying that she didn't see a light pole or something. He threw me a surprise engagement party, and guess who accidentally ate prawns and was rushed to the hospital halfway through the party? To avoid any drama at my wedding, my partner and I decided to elope with a few friends, and it was the first time something was all about me, for once. My parents were bitter about not being part of wedding celebrations, so we planned a reception type thing for friends and family on our second anniversary. My dad will walk me down the aisle and my mom will do the something old thing, etc. They had been buzzing with excitement and looking forward to the wedding. The event is this coming weekend and guests have already started flying in as they want to celebrate the whole week and treat it as a reunion of sorts. But like every other big moment of my life, I am writing this post sitting in the hospital waiting room because Nancy apparently had a big psychotic break because her boyfriend dumped her in February, so there's a psychiatrist admitting her for 21 days as he believes she's a danger to herself. My parents are trying to talk me into postponing because it would be heartless of me to celebrate while my sister is cuffed to a bed for the next 3 weeks. I had a meltdown of my own and told my sister that if she wanted to go to heaven that desperately, could she not have done it when we were younger so I could be spared from all her drama, and now there's a handful of family members who are calling me a cruel bridezilla for taking my stress out on my sister when she's so unwell. I told all of them that I would be proceeding with the wedding as a lot of time and money had already gone into it and they're welcome to mope around the hospital to support my sister. They told me that I was unfair for making them have to choose between a party and my sister who is on her deathbed. ETA, I know she isn't in her deathbed. Any sane person reading this post knows so she's not on her deathbed. But to my family, this is a life or death situation because only God knows what they'll do to her in there, and they're especially incensed by the very limited visitation because they're convinced the psychiatrist is doing it so she can get pumped full of medication and so the hospital can make money, yada yada yada. Update 1. First, my sister tried to discharge herself by signing a refusal of hospital treatment, which wasn't successful, and she apparently had a whole meltdown and hurt one of the staff members, so she had to be sedated and restrained. After I heard about this, I decided to call her psychiatrist up again and told him that this is part of her MO. She'll get hurt and then once she's gotten enough attention or something of mine has been cancelled, she'll then get herself discharged because she's miraculously feeling better. And I think that's what she was banking on now, but what she didn't consider is that psychiatric hospitals operate very differently from regular hospitals. I also think she realized that for the first time, her plan wasn't working and I'd still be celebrating something and tried getting out so she could physically disrupt the ceremony, but oh well. The day after I made the post, I took the suggestion quite a few people made and created a whole spreadsheet of the incidents. I went through the discharge papers my parents still had at their house and went through a deep dive of my iCloud to find old pictures and stuff of special moments in my life and then compared all the dates. Lo and behold, there were 11 special moments and 10 discharge papers, all with eerily close dates, from a few years before my 16th birthday to now. I showed this list to my parents and nothing. They decided to stick to their guns, telling me that my sister has always been clumsy and the stress of big events would obviously make her more prone to getting hurt. I then asked them why she never had any accidents before or after her own milestones, like her graduation or her engagement party, and I didn't get an answer. I felt my heart break into a million pieces and decided to just cut my losses because I really was talking to walls. I then told them that I was okay with them not attending the wedding ceremony they had guilted me into having and that I had enough people who truly loved me there to support me. I also told the other flying monkeys in the family that they had my permission to stay away and go sit in the hospital, waiting on someone who currently isn't allowed to have any visitors. I then switched my phone off so that I could focus on getting ready for Saturday, and all communication had to go through my partner, who was filtering out everything before it reached me. The ceremony started off great, and I actually don't regret doing it, even though I didn't want it in the first place. It felt so darn good to see relatives and friends I hadn't seen in a while. Halfway through, my parents arrived and my dad started talking to other relatives about how disappointing it was that he didn't get to walk me down the aisle a second time, and how he didn't raise me to be so selfish by celebrating things while my own sister is probably chained to a bed with no one there to support her. My relatives then talked him into leaving, and I didn't hear about his tantrum until this morning, which I'm very grateful for. My relatives also had to deal with a friend of my sister's turning up to the reception in a white dress, but the joke was on her because I was in a modern traditional basuta dress and I still fully stood out as the bride. Right now, I honestly just feel numb and defeated. And it feels like I've lost my family, even though they were never really family. It hurts to be in this situation, and a part of me is mourning what could have been or what I deserved but never got. A lot of people told me that going NC is never easy, and I think it's finally starting to sink in. But a lot of people also told me to focus on the good. I have a lot of good things going for me now, and I should be in the moment. This might not be the dramatic update people were expecting, but that's all there is for now. Story 2. Why is life so unfair? I am 27, ended my 3-year relationship with my sweetheart F21 because I felt like I wanted out and date around. She was everything I ever wanted in a woman: sweet, caring, attentive, fun to be around, very beautiful when she wanted to be, fulfilled my every wildest fantasy in bed, and actively pushed me to be a better person. Her only fault would be that she tended to need a lot of reassurance and attention, which I was terrible at giving. I also never communicated properly when issues would arise. So to me, that's almost a fault of my own, not hers. Meanwhile, I've ignored her, sometimes been unnecessarily rude on impulse, didn't consider her feelings, didn't listen, lazy, had nothing going for me, but still mostly a sweet and caring guy. We've broken up a few times for my issues. She took me back, but now she seems done with me and won't respond to any contact. Nearly 2 months later, I'm filled with regrets and a million questions in my head. How could I betray my best relationship and greatest love of my life? Why was I thinking about girls that wouldn't give me the time of day while I had the perfect girl that would do anything for me right next to me? How could I hurt her so much, while claiming that I love her? How did I even deserve her love? Do we still stand a chance when she's not willing to talk anymore, or should I move on and try to learn from it? And most importantly, what is wrong with me that it even got to this point, and how can I actually fix myself? BC, I have no idea, and no one in my life can help me, not even my therapist. I'm desperate and just wish I had some guidance.